This is the show that values time and puts God first, so let's get into it because we are already running late. So a theory and a narrative, I guess all just a theory, right? Something that doesn't exist that people are trying to put out there. And that is this idea that the NBA, which all the talk the last week has been about tanking and the All-Star game, and it's gone into, should we get rid of the draft? Should we just, this is what I've been hearing a lot of. Should we get rid of the draft? Should we just allow teams, instead of 1 through 3, instead of having like the worst pick, you got the best chance to get the first player, you should be allotted X amount of money. So like, let's say the first team is $10 million for rookie contract. Second team is 9 point something, and it goes down, right? 1 to 30. And I've seen this and I'm like, well, I think that sounds stupid. And then I've also seen this take that goes right next to it, which is, oh, the draft doesn't incentivize anything. It just gives bad teams great players. That's unfair. Do people, when you say stuff out loud, like, there's a joke, and Tony says this a lot, like, bring back shame. Like, when you say that out loud, you really say that with a straight face and think to yourself, this was really smart. This was the right thing to say. Listen, no sport is more popular than the NFL. And I'm stealing what I'm about to say because this is not my own thoughts, but I agree with it wholeheartedly, and I want to get the point across. I got it through Peter Rosenberg. I apologize to he got it through his dad, who got it through a story. And it was basically, and it was going to trigger some people, the NFL, which is the most popular sport by a mile, is a socialist construct. There's revenue sharing. So even if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're one of the biggest draws in the world, you're the Kansas City Chiefs, the Patrick Mahomes, you're one of the biggest draws in TV, there's revenue sharing. Everybody gets the same. And the worst team in the league gets the best draft pick. You are rewarded with the best chance to fix, because what teams and leagues actually want, and I believe this wholeheartedly, maybe this is the child in me watching sports, you don't want, yes, it's great to watch a dynasty. I enjoyed watching, if you are old enough and you got to see Kobe, Shaq with the Lakers, if you got to see Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, I consider that a dynasty with Popovich and the Spurs. If you got to see the Miami Heat, LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh, you got to see the Warriors, Steph, KD, Clay, dynasties are awesome. Factually, they are. Numbers-wise, support it. People tune in and watch dynasties. Leagues also don't want a quarter or a third of their teams being dumpster fires. That's why you give these teams the ability to get great players into the building. Why would you want a market? Otherwise, why would you put a team in that market if you never wanted them to be good? Because here's the problem with the quote-unquote, let's give the worst team just the most money because that's going to incentivize the guys. Have we not learned with the All-Star game that you can't put money in front of these guys who have access to tens of millions in Nike ads, tens of millions in their own contracts? Like, they can make so much money outside their own NBA contract. LeBron makes more off the court than he does on the court. He makes $51 million a year on the court. And again, oh, well, that's LeBron. Steph, the same thing. KD, the same thing. Anthony Edwards, one a newer superstar. Jokic is a little weird in the Europe. Jokic is a little weird because most of the stuff, he goes home and he doesn't want to be in the celebrity space as much. But Giannis just signed a deal with a gambling company. We're going to get to that. Like, these guys can make so much money just saying, oh, think of, like, Cooper Flag. Think about it. How much money do you think Cooper Flag is going to be able to get off advertisements alone, how he's played as a rookie? He's going to make more next year off advertisements and off shoe sales than he will off money he's actually paid from the NBA. Guys, if are given a chance, yes, you want to see stacking teams? Imagine stacking teams and guys can come in the league and they're on team-friendly contracts for the first 4 to 5 years. Because the guys that grew up in California and grew up Laker fans, they're going to want to go play for the Lakers. The teams going to the Miami, like, you're going to have horrible out of balance. Yeah, Oh, what about National Signing Day for college? Because that's the other argument for it. It's like, well, college basketball and college football do that. You just go sign with whoever you want. And I'm not here to say that college sports are not drastically popular. I'm not. They obviously are. They are incredibly popular. They have a ton of success. But they are not the same as professional sports. They're just not. Think about it this way. And I want to make sure I get this number right. The national championship game. 30 million people watched this year. Indiana versus Miami. Okay? I just for the context. The Super Bowl, 124 million. College sports and professional sports. And you can love college sports. I'm not here to shit on college sports. But they are not in the same league or the same category as far as how popular they are and the demand for both of them. So when we're talking about, oh, let's have a no draft, why reward? Of course you reward the teams because we want a chance. If I'm just born in a city or a state and that becomes my team because that's my hometown team, why am I screwed forever because I'm born in Utah versus LA or I'm born in New Orleans versus Miami? Like, it's just one of the dumbest things I can actually think of. It's insane. Because you want to talk about guys who already want to go to these big markets? Now they get the chance to do it right out of high school? No. No NBA draft is stupid. Not here to apologize. No NBA draft is just dumb. It's a bad idea. It should never happen. Let's move on to something else that's infuriating, and I hate this story. There's a story that, and you can already use context clues and get to this conclusion, which is why I think it makes it even more infuriating. Gambling companies supposedly are upset with Adam Silver and the NBA due to the tanking because teams are resting players but not disclosing it. They're just not playing them for quarters or halves or even games at a time. And when you have gambling companies that are trying to put these over-under bets and no one's disclosing this information, it destroys the integrity of the bet. The integrity in gambling. Think about that one. I don't recommend anybody gamble. There is already a line that I think personally to me, I think it's a shame that ESPN is involved in gambling. I think it's a shame that all these sports leagues are involved in gambling. I think it's insane that a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo can partner with a gambling company, an unregulated, unlicensed gambling company who's not even allowed in all 50 states because of how just off the wall they do their stuff. And they're allowed to make actual bets on will Giannis Antetokounmpo be traded, and Giannis makes it to the trade deadline. He's not traded, and the day after he announces, by the way, I'm a partner. Like, that's insane. The other problem with this is there's already a sketchy line of how involved is gambling in professional sports. And yes, if you want to be a cynic, and I think this is probably true, they've always kind of existed. They've always been in the background. They've always been around. But you are supposed to separate what the gambling and the other activities that go along with your sport and the actual product itself. This is what's supposed to separate. I started watching wrestling this last month. Like, actively watching wrestling. Watch WrestleMania. Or not WrestleMania, I'm sorry. But I've been watching Raw. I watched the Brawl a couple weeks ago. What separates wrestling from what we consider actual sports, the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, is that they are what is real and what is fake, and at least the perception. I don't go into a wrestling match going, man, I was cheated because I was rooting for this guy, and he didn't win, it's rigged. It literally is. If I go into a football game or a basketball game or a baseball game and I want to root for my hometown team or my favorite team, I might feel like I got screwed. I might feel like it was rigged because maybe a call didn't go my way or something happened. But the idea that gambling companies just there saying, Hey, man, we don't like the way this looks. Like, the gambling companies are telling you they don't like the way this looks. That's insane. That's objectively insane. Like, there's no way this should be allowed to be publicized, should be out there, even if you already kind of think it's true in the back of your head. Adam Silver's had a bad week. This is even worse. This might be the most damning thing about it. Again, you have a player, a prominent player in your league, partnered with a gambling company. You are partnered. Your league is partnered with gambling companies. And now we get, well, the gambling companies don't like how this looks. Now what happens if something changes? How much power do they have? And you can't let that line get blurred. You cannot let the gambling companies come out, put out statements, or have reports in the background, and then something changes. And it just vindicates how much power they really have. Again, you might already think they have the power, and that may be true, but you can't put that message out to the public that, yeah, gambling companies run all of this. Yeah, we all know money rules the world. We all know money's the way things happen. But in a sport that is supposed to be an authentic experience, I always call sports our true reality television. I can't have my reality television and know the scriptwriter is motivated by gambling millions of dollars every night. It's an awful look for the NBA. It's an awful look for Adam Silver. I hate the story. I hate the idea. I hate the premise. Everything about it. And now I've started the first 15 minutes of the show, and I'm already in a bad mood. I love talking about sports, and I've had to talk about this idiotic idea of no draft, and now gambling companies running the world. And I've lost all my hair. What the fuck am I going to do, man? I mean, if you want to be a part of one of the coolest, most unique communities, don't forget to like and subscribe.